Okay, this is part 2 with Elyssa East, Elyssa East of Dogtown, Death and Enchantment in a New England Ghost Town. Now, if people are looking it up on Amazon.com, would they look up, or if they're calling their local bookstore to find it, would they ask for Dogtown first or Death and Enchantment?
They would ask for Dogtown.
Dogtown, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably a stupid question.
No.
No stupid question?
No stupid question.
Yeah,
Okay.
no stupid questions.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the book a little bit, and we're also going to talk about Gloucester and how it was received in Gloucester, because you know the book is pretty, you know, it's dark, and there was a local woman that was murdered, and she's in the book. Why don't you tell me, first of all, for the research, the book is it's all kind of nonfiction, right? Because the death is real.
It's all nonfiction.
It's all nonfiction.
That's right.
So, you know, you talk in the book about witches and slaves. Where was this documented?
Okay, so the story, the lore goes that after the Revolutionary War, there was a population of widows living up in what was then called the Common Settlement in the Highland, which is now Dogtown. And that many of these women were reputed to be witches. And these stories were written down in the 1890s by Charles Edward Mann, who was then the editor of the Gloucester Daily Times. And Charles Mann basically went about all of Riverdale and other parts of Gloucester, and just interviewed people, asking them what they knew about Dogtown, how it got its name, and what was the reputation of the people living up there. So,
Wait, I'm sorry. What years was this?
this was in the 1890s that
he was doing the interviews.
That he was doing the interviews.
Okay, yeah.
These were published in the Gloucester Daily Times, and they were also collected in this book called In the Heart of Cape Ann, or The Story of Dogtown. And that was one of my main sources for the book. And he also mentioned these former slaves, a woman named Old Ruth, who sometimes went by a man's name of John Woodman, and a man named Cornelius Finson. The women who were known as witches, one of them was a woman named Tammy Younger. There was also a woman named Lucy George. Now, in Mann...
Jeez, what names?
Yeah.
What names?
Are they good names?
Oh my Lord! They're like, you couldn't make these names up for a book. You just go, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
so,
for interrupting.
no, but but Mann was very careful to say that, well, they were believed to be witches, but who really knows? Certainly, they were poor. Their reputations had as much to do with sort of people just mistrusting them. I mean, there was a lot of prejudices against the poor at this time. Take, for example, the former slave, Cornelius Finson. Well, there were slaves in Gloucester. Slavery was abolished in the 1780s in Massachusetts. But there was one man named Ambrose Finson who, I went back to a lot of original town records. And so that meant I was looking at the sort of what would be the minutes of the town council meetings today, and also the tax rolls. And so there on one of these rolls was this man, Ambrose Finson, who did in fact own slaves. So Cornelius Finson could have been one of his slaves. His name also appeared in the Gloucester Vital Records. The names of all these people were in the Gloucester Vital Records, so I could see when they were born and when they died and if they had married. So they were real people. But other than these stories about that Charles Mann captured, and then the stories, what I could find in the records by looking in the city archives, what was between those, you had to sort of piece together. But thankfully, Mann had captured so much in his book. He also had another book that's lesser known called In the Beginnings of Dogtown, and that talks about this dispute that took place between these church parishes. This story is also told in the book.
Wow.
So he really captured much of this.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No.
But from every person that I've talked to about this book, and I have to read it for myself when work slows down, every person that reads it says it's such a page turner. Like you can't stop reading, especially if you're from here. It's like they say,
nice.
it's just like crazy, like you don't want to stop finding out, because we all live here, and
Right.
this stuff happened, but a lot of us don't really even, I didn't know. I had
Yeah.
no idea, you know. But
Well,
anyway.
thank you. I mean, calling it a page turner is a really high compliment, so I really appreciate
But it's
that.
not just, I mean, that's not even, that's every person I've spoken to that has read the book and bought the book. But anyway, you did a book signing at the bookstore of Gloucester,
That's right.
and was it a reading too?
It was a reading.
Okay. Well, so now, tell me how this goes for you as an author, not from here, and you come to Gloucester to tell, to read about this story, and you know, a lot of emotion in this story, a lot of, you know, there's death in this story, and it's nonfiction. How nervous are you
Oh, I'm really nervous.
you know, do you feel like every person is critiquing every word of because, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
this is their lives and stuff like
Yeah.
that in their community? How does that go for you at the bookstore?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm always nervous. I don't sleep much the night before I do these events. But you know, I think I'm very careful in the book, and I'm careful when I meet people to say, you know, I'm an outsider. I'm not from here, and this is my story of how I encountered this place. These are the things that people said to me, and people talk differently to an outsider than their neighbor. You know, we all present different sides of ourselves to different people. And I really took a lot of pains to try to get this place right to the best of my abilities. And for the most part, people have said, you know, you really got us. And that to me has been just one of the highest compliments. I also had some, you know, some really great locals on my team, as I like to say, people who helped me and helped me, you know, kind of help guide me in directions so that I got things right. Sarah Dunlap of the Gloucester Archives being one such person. Peter Anastas has been just immensely helpful. And just other people who I would just meet and just start talking to, they would say, you know, actually, you know, it went like this. And so, you know, I went back to my notes and made sure I got that right. So, but it's always a little anxiety provoking, but I've been really overwhelmed with how much people have really embraced the book. It's been very gratifying.
So, yeah, I would be terrified. I would be absolutely
Yeah. Well, you know, I heard these stories about Sebastian Younger getting run out of town. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I think people were just kind of, you know, ribbing me, like, you know,
Probably.
if she's gonna be kicking around Gloucester, she's got to be able to handle it. You know? I was like, okay, bring it on.
There you go. Very good. All right, that's part 2.